Shalom. Kol halalima Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakah Kodash. Brakti Yahweh, Brakti Yahweh, Brakti Yahweh, Brakti Yahweh, Brakti Yahweh, Brakti Yahweh, Bahashem Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the prophets of that body, and shalom to the 144,001/3. The elect men, okay, the 144, and the greater part of the body, which are the believers, which will be men, women, and children. Okay. May peace and blessings be unto you and unto your households, and a spirit of endurance be upon you as well. Anyway, shalom, shalom barakah. Monday morning, June the 30th is July tomorrow. All right. Okay. Let's check out the verse of the day. Matthew 6:33. But seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well. All right. I'm going to go to the King James Version because it's the closest to the Lashon Kodash, as our elders say. And, and the way it's written in English is beautiful also, Matthew 6:33. But seek ye first the kingdom of the Most High, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahshai, and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. Okay. But seek ye first the kingdom of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahshai, and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. The name of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahshai is a gift. Okay. The Lord's word is a comfort. Okay. The Rakah Kodash is, and the word, and the name, the Rakah Kodash, and the word, man, is a comfort, is a huge comfort. Okay. Which puts you at ease, right? Not being caught up in the so-called rat race of this world, where Peter, where people, rob each other. People are covetous. People are jealous. People are jealous of how somebody looks. Like that's why you got ugly bitches chucking acid on beautiful women. There's been a few cases like that over here. You got ugly motherfuckers that are jealous of good-looking dudes or whatever. Because maybe his girl's checking him out. I don't know. There's so many things. People are jealous of someone having more money. There's people who are jealous of, who have better clothes. People have better cars. People are always, as they say, people are robbing. Someone, next man's robbing Peter to give back to Paul or whatever. However that saying goes. But the elect that have the name of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahshai, right, is a huge gift, and it puts you at ease, so you don't get caught up with the rat race of this world. You don't have that spirit upon you. I mean, the elect, to a certain degree, never had that spirit upon them anyway. I can speak for myself. I was never one of them individuals that was that way inclined. Where if you went to somebody's house and their house is better, they look better. It was just beautiful home and whatever. I would get jealous and next time I go to their house, I'm gonna cut do something to their house to damage it, whatever. Because some people do that, and I've experienced things where people have done things like that because they're just jealous of you, or they're jealous of your car, or they're jealous of your clothes, right? I had an instance many, many, many years ago. I had a leather jacket, right? My dad got me a leather jacket. I was about 15, right? This is in the early 90s. I went to a cousin's house, and then when I put my leather jacket back on, somebody cut a massive hole inside my pocket, inside the leather jacket, and I knew who did it as well. That was this cousin of mine. He was a prick anyway because he had that kind of nature, very female type, catty, very jealous, kind of nature. And you got people like that in this world because they have this way of like they want to step over people, step on people to get what they want, and they don't understand that there's other people out there that look the same way. They look at you the same way you look at other people, right? You think people ain't gonna do the same thing back to you because you reap what you sow. Galatians 6 verse 7. You pay for these things in this life and the next, whether you do small things or large things. You know, a perfect example would be when Mike Epps said, when he's one of his stand-ups, saying that he's trying to save a few quid or whatever, but he stole a packet of cookies. But when he got home, right, he lost his keys, so he had to pay $60 to get is it called the locksmith to come over and change his locks. He goes, that was one heck of a. He goes, that was one expensive pack of cookies, man. $60 for probably like I don't know, probably 10 years ago, maybe $2 packet of cookies or whatever, right? These are examples of you get paid back. That's an example there of you getting paid back straight away, for your wrongdoings, you know. And so there's a lot of people in this world as well. That's why you got a lot of people out of our people that sell out. People do all sorts of things, be it at work, be it in your leisure life or whatever. Be it at work or in all aspects of commerce or finance, or generally speaking, people try and step on people, step over people, step on people's toes. People want what next man has. People try and do everything they can to make it in this world, have 2 jobs, 3 jobs. And recently, one of the great Millstone brothers, made a video of Eve, and it's a so-called black woman that was so overworked, and so burnt out. She went to sleep and she never woke up because the woman was doing 7 days a week. So people are trying to make it, right? But working hard is not a bad thing. She was just unfortunate, and she just got overworked, right? But I'm just saying, there's people out there that do all sorts of illicit things just to, as I say, come up, right? Especially these people that sell out, sell out for, take the consolation prize. They don't want that real meal. They don't want that meal in the kingdom. They don't want the riches of the kingdom. They want the riches of this evil, disgusting, decrepit, this foul, filthy, demonic queendom, man. That's what they want. They want their concrete mansions. They don't want a gold mansion. They don't want a chariot. They want you know, they rather sell their backside and get a Rolls Royce. You know what I mean? Now, nothing wrong with having nice things. Okay, let me add that. If you work and lawfully the Lord blesses you these things, brothers do that as well. And there's nothing wrong with having money and nice things. But the love of money is the root of all evil. Paraphrasing scripture. Why is the love of money the root of all evil? Because you would do anything for it you would do anything to acquire that money. You hear about these famous people, man. Their mummies and daddies are dropping. Their brothers and sisters are dropping. Some of these so-called famous people, their children, get, mysteriously something happens to them, and then they, blood sacrifice happens and they come up, But the elect aren't like that, because the elect are seeking the kingdom. You know as well as I do, right? When you were in the world and you did stupid things, right? You were going you were in a roller coaster, going up and down, right? Nothing was working out. Nothing was working out, all right? Because you were just a dope fiend. You were a piece of shit in the world, all right? But as soon as, you try, you clean yourself up and you try and do right. Okay, yeah, you still mess up here and there, but you try. The Yahweh Mashiach calls you. The Lord sups with you. You come into the truth. Yes, it's hard. You give up the drugs. You go through your cold sweats. And I'm speaking for myself. I tried 4 times and Brakti Yahweh Mashiach. The 4th time, I believe it's 4, which is mercy. The 4, I got. The Lord got me off it. All right. I'm not going to talk about what chemicals. Okay, that's a little too deep. Yeah, but the Lord, Yahweh Shai, got me off it. All right? Stopped me smoking cigarettes, stopped me smoking spliffs, stopped me taking certain illicit things, right? Because when I was doing it, man, it wasn't good. It wasn't good at all, you know? But the haze of drugs kind of numbed the pain. But when you come into the truth and you stay off those things, Yahweh Shai tests you out for a long time to see if you go back to it, right? And then lo and behold, as soon as then the Lord gives you a bit of balance in your life. The Lord may bless you certain things where, you earn your daily bread, you got a bit of balance. You're not rich, but you're not poor either, but, you got your balance, you know? You got basic things, all right, um, to keep you balanced, and uh, but you get put through the ringer as well, spiritually, sometimes physically as well, bodily pains, mental issues, anger, all these kinds of things that people piss you off quicker, and you try to got to bite your tongue, saying, "Ah, no, I really want to get at this person," but then you think to yourself, it's not that serious, so you say, you know what, I'm gonna leave that one alone, you know. So the way we hopeful elect don't get pissed off or traumatized or angry or jealous or covetous is because being covetous is, against the scriptures. Being stealing or murdering is against the scriptures, right? Um, like you see in movies all the time. Like in, for example, Paid in Full, when his brethren, right? How in the drug world you saw, man, Mitch and all these other characters in the movie. What happens to Mitch? Mitch gets deleted in the end. Mitch was a cool cat in the movie. Mitch took care of his family, took care of his brother, but what? At the detriment of his people. So the Lord took him out. You know. So there's no other way around it. You know. Okay. So, but when you start to do right, so you see, when you start to do the right, then things start to balance out. You'll get put through the ringer. You get through you'll get stresses, but that's the Lord building you up for the greater trial to come. Okay. And we don't get swayed by these YouTube videos of people sitting on yachts and, driving Lambos and shit like that. Why? Because we're seeking the kingdom. But seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well. All right. But seek ye first the kingdom of the Most High, Yahweh Hashem Yashai, and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. All right. you know, well, we're going to get it all. All right. You're going to get a few blessings on this side. You need a car, or you desire a car. The Lord might bless you a real nice car. The Lord might put you, put a thought process in your mind, to find a certain car lot, where there's beautiful cars, and with ones you find one in your price range, and it happens to look more expensive and more nicer than your price range. You think, damn, it's that much, and it happens not to be a lemon either. So, sometimes the Lord could bless you, or the Lord could bless you a really good job where you can earn good money and buy these things, So you're going to get blessings on this side. You haven't been without a woman for a while, maybe even a couple of years. You're going doolally, as they say in the UK. You know what I mean? You want some box. The Lord will, might put you through the ringer, where you can't have that woman. You can't have that woman back in the world. You would have got that woman, right? But the Lord is just not making it happen, putting blockers in the way, saying, "Oh, she ain't good for you," because the Lord knows that woman's mind, no matter how fine she is, right? But the Lord will give you a woman in due time, that ticks all the boxes, or a couple of women in due time that ticks all the boxes. So he's got to be patient. These blessings will come. Okay, from a man's perspective, your blessings will come. You'll have an okay home, you'll have an okay car, you'll have a nice looking woman. These things will come, and these are just a bare minimum I'm talking about, just to keep Jake balanced out. You'll have a way to earn your daily bread. You'll have this. Compared to where you were in the world, compared to where you are now, compare it. Which one is better? Would you want to go back to the world? Fuck no. Right? Hell no. All right? We want to stay on the straight and narrow path, man, towards Yahweh Shem Hashai. All right? And we know, we don't worry, get swayed by, the next man's got a Lamborghini, or look at his 1 kilo gold chain, or he's got 10 bad bitches with him, or man, look at his clothing or whatever, or how these youngsters, Gen Z, get swayed and they do all sorts of stupid shit to acquire it. We don't get swayed about it. I say some bullshit. You know what comes in my mind is, the kingdom is the kingdom, is the kingdom, is the kingdom, right? The kingdom. We think about the kingdom. We don't get swayed by this world. And let's just say hypothetically, even if you had millions of pounds and a mansion and all these things in this world, do you really want to be in this world? Are you serious? This world is hell. It's bullshit. All right? King Solomon had everything, and he still said it's all vanity. King Solomon had the finest women. He was good looking. He was swole. You know what I mean? He had gold. He had the name of, first and most important, he had the name of Yahweh Shem Hashai. He was good looking. He had gold. He was a comely man, of course. You know what I'm saying? Right? He had 1,000 women, bruv. And all of them tens. None of them was like a 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10. All of them were 10 out of 10s. All right, with amazing figures, beautiful long hair, attractive faces, and they were all his. All his. None of them were tainted. Okay, they were only plowed by him. All right, no other man saw their nakedness. He had all these blessings. All right, and he was given wisdom and knowledge too by Yahweh Hashem Yashai. But he still said this world was bullshit. Basically saying it's all vanity. He said it's not the kingdom, right? And our people, even on this side, sell themselves for naught, man. All right. But we seek the kingdom of Yahweh Hashem Yashai and his righteousness because we want to be right, man. We don't want to sway. I get pissed off when I do something small wrong. I get real pissed off, because I want to do right, man. But then again, I understand, the Lord Yahweh sent Yahweh Shai to be our physician, man. To heal us, because it's the people that messed up need healing, isn't it? Because the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak, and a just man does fall seven times, but you get back up and you brush. As I say in this world, you dust your shoulders off and try again, right? I think that's the saying. All right. So we, the elect, are happy in thine self. They're happy in earning their daily bread, man. Because we know we got greater things coming. All right. All right. Food and raiment, King James Version. Oh, I said food and raiment. Yeah, here we go. This is what you should be content with, man. All right. You got clothes on your back. You got place to wash your backside and shower daily. You got place to iron your clothes. You got creams, oils to put on your hair and face to take care of yourself. You got some deodorant or natural oils, to put on your skin after a shower so you smell extra good. You know what I mean? You got a car to go to and fro work, or you got a bus card, or you got some dough in your pocket to do these things. You got you got your basics. That's enough, man. That's good enough. And you want more, you keep working, you stack up, and you buy a few things here and there. Give yourself a few treats, as I say, right? 1 Timothy 6:8, and having food and raiment, let us be there with content. Okay, food and raiment, food and clothing. Let me just get the correct definition. I don't want to guess. I believe it's clothing, food, and raiment means clothing. I just want to make sure that it is correct what I'm saying. Raiment. Yeah, there we go. Raiment is clothing. Yeah, there you go, clothing. So, and having food and raiment, 1 Timothy 6:8, and having food and raiment, let us be there with content. All right, verse 9. But they that will be rich fall into temptation and a snare, and into many foolish and hurtful lusts, which drown men in destruction and perdition. And we're seeing that with P. Diddy. He's a faggot, right? He's got his disgusting lusts, All right. You would think with all that money, you would just be plying beautiful women. But, we know the demonic side of this world, man. They've got to do that shit. It's part of their so-called satanic religion, And we see the people that are falling into these traps and snares. We see people that were in the truth that win the lottery. They win $100,000, $120,000, or whatever. They get a book deal or something, or like that one body guy, that old man in One Body in Jebus. Yeah, he became a mayor, I believe. Was it something along those lines where he had some kind of he was, I think somebody's is allegedly, of course, where he was offered a better position or a better job or some kind of high-ranking position, and he sold out for naught, for the riches of this world. So these traps and snares of wealth and money and people winning the lottery and people getting it so easily and quickly are basically traps and snares, and those people are usually not part of the elect, because the elect, are going to be pretty much on a level playing field, so to speak, where they will have just enough to get by. They won't be poor. They'll have nice things, but they won't be like millionaires where they'll be saying, dollar bill, y'all, throwing money up in the air and being in a club where a bunch of bitches are dancing and they'll be fucking pouring, buckets of money on on these women. They won't be doing none of that bullshit. Verse 10, for the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some coveted after, they have erred from the faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. Okay? And that's a lot of the 2/3. You got your Steve Harveys, your Eddie Murphys, your P. Diddy's, your Jay-Z's, uh, your Jennifer Lopez's, George Lopez is no more on the scene. I don't know what happened to that Ishikarite Jake, you know. But even if his show was cancelled, so but to get that show initially, what did he have to do? You know, the guy, listen, man, our people, you might see this Jake, man, all masculine and shit, full beard on his face, swole, but the nigga probably, wearing a nurse's outfit in those private parties, walking around, and these old ass Edomites are probably pinching his backside, and it's disgusting when you think about it. And there's these Jakes have to do that. You know what I mean? You see all these compromising pictures online, you know, and those are traps and snares, man, because those Jakes are evil. They have an evil spirit in them, and those evil spirits are ignited when these certain things are put in front of their face, you know. All right, the same way a crack fiend could be off crack 6 months, and it's too early for him to even be around, like in the movie. What's that movie with Wesley Snipes, man? New Jack City. Where Chris Rock is off crack. I don't know how long he's off crack in the movie, maybe 6 months. He goes, yeah, I want to go undercover. And then lo and behold, he's fucking bagging up the crack rocks and shit. And what happens? The demonic spirit in him gets ignited. The lust starts. And what happens? Destruction. He gets caught out stealing, and then they delete him, and he's back on crack. See what I mean? Those are temptations and snares and traps where drug addicts can get caught. Covetous people can get caught. People that have that kind of demonic spirit in them can get caught out. But only the elect will be covered with, from these evil things, man. Verse 10, for the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some coveted after, they have erred from the faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. People are covetous. People rob other people. People know about, oh yeah, he's got a safe in his house. He's got £60,000 of dollars in that safe. I'm gonna delete him and take his stuff and take his woman. Some Jakes think like that. It might be another Jake on the block. You might have grown up with him, but you see all that cash in his safe. What happens? The same thing with Mitch's boy, the one who was the guy who worked in a laundromat. He had people close to him set him up. People do shit like that for the love of money. Okay, and all these people in the movie that try to set up Mitch's boy, what happened to them? A lot of them got deleted, and the only one that was left, the one who had a somewhat of his head on the swivel, somewhat circumspect, who wasn't evil to a certain degree, according to the movie. Let's just say the guy who worked in a laundromat, he was the only one that survived, right? But the Lord did punish him for going in that direction of being a drug dealer in the first place. He got beaten up, he got shot up, He wasn't the same person again, right? Yeah? But the elect are going to be protected from these things, okay? The elect are going to be covered with the spirit and power of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, okay, because they are his. They might come close to these things, but there'll be a spirit on them, angels guiding their mind saying, oh, no, don't do this, don't do that, don't talk to that woman. I know she's fine, she's looking at you. I know she's got a bad body, she's really pretty, long hair, full lips, lovely tan skin. She could be an Indian girl, she could be an Arab girl, she could be a beautiful Latina, she could be, I don't know, mixed race, Polynesian with white or something. She could be a bad mofo, just sexy as fuck, She's your cup of tea. She's ticking all the boxes, what your rod gets, alerted for. You know what I mean? And then, you see the wedding ring and that, whatever. Somebody says, oh, she's married. Oh man, she's going for you. Go for her, man. Go for her. You could be in that box within within an hour of talking to her, But the spirit's only, you might talk to her saying, as soon as she says, oh, I've got a husband or I'm breaking up or whatever. But some women lie, but the Lord will make some women tell the truth just so you don't get caught up, And, the Lord will put the spirit on you saying, nah, I ain't doing that, man. I ain't doing that. You could get the box, and as soon as you get the box, you walk out of the room and cross the street, and the Lord can send a vehicle to run you over, when you knew better, you just got to be the Lord protects his elect, man. The Lord protects his elect. That's all I'm trying to say. I go and know, um, okay. The elect are not going to get deceived. If it were possible, they would deceive the very elect, King James Version. All right. And this scripture would cover, these false prophets and false people that are trying to lead Jake astray. But these are traps and snares as well. But what I'm trying to say, in every shape or form, be it spiritual, physical, or mental, the elect are going to be covered. They're going to be guided by the Spirit and power of Yahweh Shemashai, because the Lord has sent angels to cover them. I'm going to go to Psalms 91:11 after this, then I think I'll finish it there. Matthew 24:24. For there shall arise false Hamashiachs and false prophets, and shall shew great signs and wonders, in so much that if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. The elect are not going to get deceived, spiritually, physically, or mentally, man. They're not going to get deceived. They may come close to it, but the Lord Yahweh Shemashai is always going to pull them out. All right, okay. Psalm 91:11, King James Version. Psalm 91:11. For he shall give his angels charge over thee to keep thee in all thy ways. Simple as that. All right. And when you hopefully know what time it is, man. You can see whether whether the angels are revealing themselves to you. You know what time it is, man. The angels are there. All right. You get messages, man. The angels are there. You can feel them. Sometimes you can see them. Sometimes your spiritual numbers. Sometimes scriptures. Sometimes something's in your mind. Then a lesson pops up, and you look at the lesson, thinking, "When was that? When did that pop up?" And it's a great millstone elder or brother. Oh shit, that was an hour ago, man. And I was thinking about this when? Oh, I was thinking about this 3 hours ago, and Yahweh Shemashai sent me the answer, man. Literally in 2 hours, man. Because the Lord hears our groanings. And even if we don't physically get on our knees and face the east and pray, we pray in our mind, right? As well as doing those, as well as getting on our knees or sitting on the floor or facing the east, in our specific stance. My knees are getting bad, so I can't stay too long on my knees. You know what I mean? But you can do it for maybe a minute or two. But sometimes, as you get older, man, verse of the day, and this is what I'm trying to allude to with this. The elect are not worried about the riches of this world, man. Okay, they're trying to seek righteousness. They're trying to seek the kingdom, and they don't have a covetous nature. Why? Because we have the Comforter. All right, and the Comforter gives us balm to our pains and worries and woes. It takes away so much the bullshit of this world. We just know that, what, like back, we see a Lamborghini, say, nah, it don't mean nothing. We're gonna have better things than that in the kingdom. You see a pretty girl, you say, whatever. We're gonna have better women in the kingdom. It's like that. You know what I'm trying to say? It's not like when you're 18 and you see a pretty girl, say, oh shit, I gotta jump off the bus and talk to her. You know what I mean? It's not gonna be like that. We don't have that kind of like we're not connected like a magnet, to these things, because we have the Comforter, man. Having the name of Yahweh Shemashai and the comfort of the scriptures, man, it takes you out of this hole of Babylon, this deep hole that people are stuck in that can't climb out. Yeah, they're stuck in that rat race. The elect climb out of that hole, man, through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Shemashai. And we're put at ease, because then we know that, okay, cool, we're just going to earn that. We're going to pray. We're going to do what we can spiritually with the knowledge that we have. We're going to earn our daily bread, and we're going to keep our head in a swivel, and we're going to be circumspect. We're going to watch our prophets. We're going to learn, and we're going to wait for Yahweh Shai to return, Abarak Tazah, very soon, and we're going to go home. That's what we're thinking about. We're not thinking about, oh man, I want to be a director. I want to be a managing director. Oh, I want to get to the top of this job. Oh, I want to buy 5, 10 houses and put them on rent. And then by the time I'm 65, I'll be getting all that money coming in. This kingdom don't have long left, man. All right? This kingdom don't have long left. All right? It doesn't have long left. Okay? All right? But you will get blessings along the way while you are here. But the greater blessings are yet to come, which is in the kingdom of heaven. All right? think I'll leave it there. Salaki if I waffle on a little, Um, I will try and get to the point quicker. Salakia for that. But anyway, all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yashai, Ba'ashem, Akakwadash. Stay strong, Yasharala. Okay, it's the 7th month tomorrow. Abaratazah, man, these things pick up and we go home soon. Kal halalina Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yashai, Ba'ashem, Akakwadash. Shalom. Yahweh, Ba'ashem.